Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. Focus on what you want. My name is Gina Mollicone-Long. Welcome to the Acme series video. Today we're focusing on the Performance Triad component number 1, right? Which is called focus on what you want. So recall from the previous video, Acme number 3 in the Greatness U Acme system is called the Performance Triad. The Performance Triad, which is Acme number 3, is focus on what you want, choose positive emotions, and have a physiology of excellence. So today I'm going to just specifically talk about the first component of the triad, which is focus on what you want. And I cannot stress this enough. This is so important because you get what you focus on. So you may have heard people say this in the past, that you get what you focus on. And, maybe you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. But, I don't really know what that means. So let me explain to you what it means. So you basically have a limited capacity for your brain to process information. Okay, so here's what happens is there's millions of bits of information. In fact, billions, maybe even trillions. In 1954, a group of scientists were trying to create what is now the computer. And so they were modeling the human brain because the machine, the sort of mechanistic analogy between a brain and a computer. And they developed an experiment where they could measure how the brain processes information. So this is Miller, Orme, Pribham, Van Uxel. These scientists were creating computers and computer programs. And so they measured in 1954 that there were about 2 million bits of information out here, right, outside your meat suit, available for you to process in your brain when you do the functions that you do. What they discovered was that the brain could only take in so many bits of information. So the brain could only take in 126 bits of information per second, despite the fact that there were millions of bits of information available to the brain. Okay, so think about this. Now, over the years, people have said to me, well, it's got to be billions now or trillions, because in 1954 to now, there's a lot more going on. And, somebody once said to me, oh, I read it was, 800 bits that you're bringing. So I don't want to get into semantics. I don't want to get into the details. Here's what you need to take away from this. Millions, billions, and trillions of bits of information are available out here. And your brain filters that out to hundreds. So millions, billions, trillions, hundreds. Millions, billions, trillions, hundreds. That's crazy. That's a massive loss of data when it comes into your brain to make those programs, those habits, to get the results you're trying to get. That's a massive loss of data. And so the problem isn't out here. The problem isn't out here. This is infinite. The problem is when you filter millions, billions, trillions to hundreds, you lose things. This filtering is based on your focus, right? So we have a biological mechanism called the reticular activating system, which is sort of back here. Just feel that part back of your head there where you would plug into the matrix. That's right around where the reticular activating system is in your brain. And its job, I'm simplifying. I'm sorry if you're a doctor or a scientist that studies this. I'm simplifying it for use. The reticular activating system's job is to look for what you're looking for. It's not to judge what you're looking for as to be good or bad or right or wrong. It's just to look for what you're looking for. And so your reticular activating system is constantly filtering, and it's binary. So if you're focused on what you want, let's say, let's take the worst solution. If you're focused on what you don't want, right, then you focus on what you don't want, and you look for more of what you don't want. Okay, so you're focused on what you don't want, let's call it a problem. And so your reticular activating system is looking for problems, and it's binary. So it's problem, not problem. So it's just problem, not problem, problem, not problem, problem, not problem. And it's stacking up all the problems, and it's bringing more and more and more of that into your awareness. Millions, billions, trillions, hundreds, millions, billions, trillions, hundreds. Got it? Now, Likewise, if you're focused on what you do want, let's call it a solution in this scenario. So if you're focused on solutions instead of on problems, then you're looking for more solutions, and it's binary. So solution, not solution, solution, not solution, solution, not solution. This is how the reticular activating system works. It's very, very basic. So if you think about it, solution, not solution, if a problem gets thrown out because it's not a solution. So solution, not solution, it gets thrown out. And so you get what you focus on. And then that comes in, and then you make choices for your behaviors based on the reality you've created in your mind. So focus on what you want, look for what you want, bring that into your mind to create the programs that give you the choices for behavior that then become your results in reality. So it kind of goes like this. And that filtering is very important. Now, people will say to me, okay, but I am always thinking positive. I always focus on what I want. Well, the problem is that we are kind of tricky in being focused on what we want. And our brain is looking for what we're looking for, whether we like it or not. And I want to show you a video that's going to pop up on the screen behind me. And I'm going to show you this video, and I'm going to narrate it a little bit, but you can read the subtitles on the screen, and you'll see that no matter what, your brain will look for what it's looking for. All right, so take a look at the screen behind me, and let's watch this video. All right, here's the awareness test video. I'll narrate it. The basketball team. How many passes does the team in white make? So just watch, count the number of passes. Just count it to yourself, and you'll see your reticular activating system in motion. Okay, what did you get? The answer is 13 passes. Did you get it? But did you see the moonwalking bear? Did you? Let's rewind it and watch it again. All right, so go. So they're passing, they're passing, they're passing. Now notice on the screen, there he is, moonwalking away right in the middle of the screen, the bear. Now, this is a very famous video because it's, based on your reticular activating system. And it's entertaining. And for those of you who have seen it before, I'm going to ask you a question to answer to yourself. How many passes does the team wearing black make? Because no matter what you're looking for in that video, you will always find what you're looking for, because your reticular activating system looks for what you're looking for. So this really underscores the importance of focus. And we sometimes trick ourselves, right? So people will say, I focus on what I want all the time. I think positively all the time. And I say, well, do you have what you want? And they go, no. Here's what I know for sure. You're not focused on what you want. Let me tell you a tiny little story about the difference between focusing on what you want truly and tricking yourself into thinking you're focusing on what you want when you're actually focused on what you don't want. So in my little story, I'm just going to use New Year's Day as an example, because it just, a lot of people can relate to it. So on New Year's Day, you've probably put on a few pounds because you've eaten a little too much, or maybe you didn't stick to your workout schedule or whatever. And so New Year's resolution, I want to be fit. This is great, perfect, focused language, So we'll say that over here in my story, this side of my room, is this goal, I want to be fit. That's my, beautiful language. But actually, there's a flip side to this coin, which is over here in this corner of my room, which is, I really don't want to be fat. Okay, so that's what's actually driving your New Year's resolution. So you wake up in the morning, when you wake up on New Year's Day, you go, oh, I put on too many pounds and I don't want this. I don't want this reality. This is what I don't want. This is what I want. And the difference is where you are focused. Just because you say the words doesn't mean that's where you're focused. And here's the example of what I mean by that. So the difference between focusing on what you want and what you don't want shows up in your behaviors and your choices. So here's how it actually goes. Where I am in my story, I'm focusing on what I don't want. Okay. And so I'm looking, the focus is sort of indicated by where my face is looking. So this means I'm focused on what I don't want. So I don't want to be fat. but I want to go towards my goal, which is over here. Now, so what I do, it's New Year's Day, right? I make a very strict cleanse. We don't call it a diet anymore, so we call it a cleanse. And I have a very strict workout regime, and I follow it to the letter every day. And I start, losing a few pounds and whatever. And I notice how I'm moving towards what I want, but I'm still focused on what I don't want. And so one day, usually around the third week of January is when most New Year's resolutions fall apart. Somebody tempts me with a birthday party or whatever, and they say, come to my birthday party, and I go with my bag of carrots because I'm going to stick to my diet cleanse. And then all hell breaks loose when they bring out my favorite cake, and I have just, I go, well, I've been really good. I'll just have one bite because I've been really good. And what happens is it's an explosion of dopamine and whatnot. And so I Google it, and then I drink too much, and then I can't work out the next day. And then I figure I've already lost it one day. I might as well, go to the party this weekend. And all of a sudden, within a few days, weeks, whatever, I find myself back to what I don't want. And that motivates me. So the closer I get to what I'm focused on, my motivation increases. So there I am, my motivation is high again. So I institute all these rules again. Okay. That happens again, and then it happens again. And then there's the yo-yo effect. Okay. So all yo-yo effects are a problem of focus. Now, instead, on New Year's Day, if my goal is to be fit and I'm focused on what I want, notice my motivation is actually quite low. It's because I'm very far away from my goal, but I put a few things in place that are moderate that I can stick to, and I do them. And, maybe I join a walking club or whatever. And then, that goes well, and that goes well. And then all of a sudden, maybe I'm out shopping with someone and I notice my pants fit better. So that's great. And so I get my motivation's increasing. So I do more, and maybe I replace this in my diet for that, and I join a running club, and and my motivation's increasing. It takes longer, but there's no setbacks. And even when I go to a party in this journey, I don't go crazy because I haven't been restricting myself anyway. So I just have a little taste. It doesn't throw anything off, and I just keep moving and moving and moving. And that's called moving towards what you want versus away from what you don't want. Both produce motion in the same direction, which is why we can't tell the difference especially when we trick ourselves with words. So luckily, in the next video, I'm going to teach you how to know for sure. And the secret is your emotional guidance system, which is the second leg of that triad. So focus on what you want is absolutely critical in the performance triad. It's the first step, and you must do it with your willpower. You must decide what you're going to focus on, and then you must stay focused on that no matter what. And in the next video, I'll teach you how to know for sure if you are actually focused on what you want, or if you're accidentally moving away from what you don't want. Luckily, the answers are in the emotional guidance system in the next video. So we'll see you in the next video, greatnessyou.com, so that you can keep revealing your greatness and bringing your gifts to the world. So if you got something out of this video, then please hit subscribe, become a regular subscriber so that you get the updates, but also like, share, and comment so people can get access to this info, because the more you spread it, the more it pops up into people's feeds, and that helps us get the information out there so that everybody can be revealing their greatness, right? It's greatnessyou.com.